Surprise live. It's funny, right? Because usually I schedule lives. That way you guys have time to come in here because it's usually something important that I want to talk with you about. But today I was just kind of like, my hair looks cute. I want to talk about travel. So I have a surprise live and people actually came. I can't even tell you guys how cool it is when people come hear me talk. I like that a lot. Okay, so today we're going to talk about packing for a cruise. And I want to start with a fun little story. I one time packed for a 10-day Alaskan cruise, which I deserted on day 8 to fly to Australia for 5 days. So I packed for 10 days in Alaska and 5 days in Australia. 2 continents, 2 different seasons. It was summer up here and fall down there, and I did it all in a carry-on bag. Don't get me wrong, I'm like next level stuff. I don't think that you should be able to pack for 2 continents in 2 weeks in a carry-on bag. I could get you there. But what I do want to talk about is the stress that a lot of people feel when they're packing for a cruise, because you hear all these stories about formal nights and theme parties and swimsuits and hiking boots, and how in the world am I going to do this in 1 bag or even the 2 bags? So because it's coming up and it's close, let's start by talking about baggage allotment. Anyone who's going with me to Alaska, you can have 2 suitcases. This isn't a cruise line rule, this is an Alaska Railroad rule. So if you're taking the Alaska Railroad with me, 2 pieces of luggage and like a backpack or something, but you need to be able to move your luggage with your own hands. That's a good rule of thumb for like anytime you travel anywhere, period, ever. If you need help carrying your luggage, you need to try again, because there's not always going to be someone to help you. But yes, if you're going to Alaska, 2 pieces of luggage that you can move with your own manpower, that's it. Normally on a cruise, when you're not taking Alaska Railroad, you can take as much luggage as you want. They don't really have a cap. I've like literally seen people with like, I think the max was like 4 big suitcases, a carry-on, a book bag. I'm like, dude, it's a 3-day cruise. So you bring in the cat. Like, you just don't need that much stuff, okay? What do you need? First of all, I want you to consider where you're going. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that Royal Caribbean messed up, Kara. Gosh, I didn't see that one coming. That's another discussion though. Anyway, think about where you're going, right? So if I'm sending you to Tahiti, you're probably gonna pack a little differently than if I'm sending you to Antarctica, right? So before you even think about number of bags or what to pack, spend a little bit of time thinking about where you're going. The second thing I want you to think about is what you wanna do while you're there. Some people could say that I went to Alaska and so I thought I needed to bring a fishing pole, and I'm like, well, do you go fishing? No, I hate fishing, but it's Alaska. You don't need it. If your activities include hiking, you do want to bring hiking boots, even if they take up space in your bag. So think about where you're going and what you want to do while you're there. And once you think about that, you're going to have a really good start for how to pack. Let's talk about Alaska, because it's in 6 months. And guys, I just spent some time talking with our onboard rep for Alaska and like getting some private spaces reserved and some fun stuff for us. I have lots of surprises. It's gonna be great. So because Alaska is my next escorted cruise, I'm gonna talk to you specifically about how I would pack for Alaska and tips and tricks along the way. If you're going to the Caribbean, if I'm sending you to the Caribbean, or I'm sending Cheryl over there to Colombia in a matter of days, her packing needs are going to be a little bit different. If you have individual questions, pop them up over here and I'll certainly tackle those. But for the masses, let's talk about Alaska. Our Alaska cruise, it's going to go for 7 days from upper inland. Well, it's not inland, but you're getting into inland. But anyway, upper all the way down to Vancouver. So the first thing you do is you look at the weather. You guys, it's like Alaska weather is kind of like Seattle weather. It's a little tricky. So in the summer, you're gonna have like 75 degrees, which might sound cold, but out here on the West Coast, 75 with the sun feels like heaven. It is a very warm, pleasant 7. So even though you're going to Alaska, you don't need your hat and your mittens and your scarf, and you don't need it. I would bring a light windbreaker, and I would wear that on the airplane as opposed to wasting packing space with it. So a light windbreaker is important. If it's waterproof, even better, because believe it or not, Alaska is actually a rainforest. It's the Tongass National Rainforest right there on the edge. So you can get rain any day of the year, almost. Summer is pretty dry, but while I don't expect us to see rain, it is totally possible. And additionally, a lot of the places that we're going in Alaska are known for their winds, specifically Skagway. I once heard that it means like Windy City or something, but in like an old Inuit, anyway, it's really windy. So even if it's warm and sunny, when we're on the ship and we're sailing in a windy place where it's not 100 degrees like the Caribbean, and you want to be on deck looking for whales, you should expect to wear a windbreaker or a sweater while you're there. You're just going to be more comfortable. So that's probably the biggest one thing you need is a lightweight jacket. It's even better if it is waterproof, and best yet if it has a hood if you don't like getting your head wet. But we're not necessarily packing for warmth. We're packing for wind. Does that make sense? So we've got a coat. Next, I want you to think about formal nights, because these are things that you're only going to wear like one time for 2 hours, right? You're going to wear it to dinner, and then you're going to say, my feet are killing me and I want to get back in my pajamas, and it's vacation, so I'm doing what I want. You do not need 7 formal outfits for a 7-night cruise. Do you want to know how many I pack? 2. Because you're only wearing it for 2 hours at a time, I will wear the same outfit twice. So packing 2 outfits gives me 4 formal evenings. And the other evenings, like, you know, slacks and a nice shirt are fine. In fact, that's pretty much always fine. So 2 formal outfits. Shoes. Oh my gosh, Mandy, the shoes. Shoes are like a girl's best friend, but they're the hardest thing to pack for, am I right? So I want you to pack a comfortable pair of walking shoes that has good tread. This is for almost anywhere you go, because you're sightseeing and you're going to be doing a lot of walking. So it's important that they're comfortable, and in Alaska, it's really important they have good tread, because most of the things we're seeing are going to be on rocky, uneven terrain. I don't want anybody slipping and getting hurt. Buy travel insurance. So comfortable walking shoes with good tread, that matters. I don't go anywhere without flip-flops, not even the mailbox. Even in Alaska, when you're walking to the pool or you're going to the spa or you're warm and you want to go out to the bar, flip-flops are easy and you're on vacation and it's summer and they don't take up much space, so pack them. If you plan to do a lot of hiking, we don't have a lot of hiking excursions, so if you're doing all of my excursions, this doesn't really apply to you, but we have a lot of adventurous outdoor people, and I suspect they'll probably do some hiking on their own. I'm happy to help you find trailheads. If you have specific hiking boots, know that you don't really need them. You're not going to be getting into that rugged of terrain. Just a trail runner or a really solid tennis shoe will be just fine. But if you are a serious hiker and you have ankle problems, bring them. Here's what you do. I want you to put your biggest pair of shoes, whether it's your hiking boots or if you insist on bringing rain boots, you don't need them. Whatever your largest shoe is, that's what you wear on the plane, and then you plan your outfit to match your shoes. It's all about optimizing the space in your suitcase. So whatever is the biggest, you'll wear on the plane. Your windbreaker, even if you're flying from California, carry it, tie it around your waist like it's 1982. Don't put it in your suitcase because it wastes valuable space. Wear your big shoes and your big coat on the plane. Keep those on your body. High heels for ladies, 1 pair. 1 pair that are legitimately comfortable and you can wear all night. Not your sexiest pair, not your highest heel, your comfortable pair that are black or tan or whatever will match both of your formal dresses. That way you only need to bring 1 pair of heels or dress shoes, whatever you wear with your formal outfits, because those take up space and you don't wear them for long and you don't really need them. So the biggest way to save space, wear your coat, wear your biggest pair of shoes, only pack 1 pair of formal shoes, 2 formal outfits max. That'll save you almost a whole suitcase when you narrow it down like that. Swimsuits, 2, even in Alaska, 2, because there's nothing worse, especially in Alaska, than having a wet swimsuit and then like putting that cold wet thing on to go back to the pool. It's terrible. Remember what I said about Alaska being windy? The pool is heated, the hot tub is very heated, but you're still gonna have to walk to get there. And if it's windy and you're cold and you're in a yesterday's swimsuit that's still kind of damp and wet and cold, you're gonna be miserable. So even in Alaska, 2 swimsuits per person. They don't take up much space in your room, in your bag. And then, so you alternate your suits. So one is drying and one is being worn. You will still want swimsuits, especially if you're snorkeling. You'll be in a full body wetsuit for that, but you're gonna want a swimsuit. So 2 swimsuits, day clothes. I recommend, if you're a jeans wearer, 2 pairs of jeans. And for a 7-day cruise, I'm gonna say like 5 tops. Oh my gosh, Mandy, that's not even an outfit per day. You're right, it's not. Because they don't really get that dirty. And nobody's gonna notice if you wear the same thing twice. So plan on wearing things twice. Pack items that go well with other items. So like maybe 1 pair of khakis, 1 pair of jeans, and 1 shirt that matches both. Don't go getting your like zebra striped pants that only match your hot pink top, but the hot pink top kind of clashes with your green khakis. You're wanting to find things that pair well interchangeably so that you can pack fewer items to make more outfits. So then what do we do if you're at dinner and you've had a little bit too much to drink on your free bar package? That never happens. And you get ketchup on your shirt. Oh, Mandy, you told me to wear this shirt 3 times? What are we gonna do? What you're gonna do is you're also gonna make sure that there's space in your bag for shout wipes and for Tide Toss and Go packets, like not the powder, not the detergent, but the little packets. Tide Challenge, the ones you eat, don't eat them, pack them. Because there is an onboard laundry. You'll need quarters for that, so if you want to pack quarters, that's cool. The laundry rates are, you know, pretty standard to what you'd find in a laundromat on land. They make their money on you by selling you detergent. So if you toss in a couple of those little Tide Pods, makes me think of Gronk, Tide Pods. Toss in a couple Tide Pods, you've already got the detergent, so you're not gonna overpay for that. And then if you do get something on a shirt that you intended to wear a few times, you can go ahead and wash it yourself on board for relatively low cost. They also offer laundry service on the boat. I think it's 20 bucks a bag. If you get really creative with the bags, you can pack them full. My family of 4 can put almost a whole week's worth of clothes in one of those laundry bags, and it's still 20 bucks. And then somebody else washes it for you, irons it for you, folds it for you, and puts it back in your room for you. So your vacation isn't spent doing laundry. That's a wonderful thing to do. And if you watch, occasionally the laundry service will be on sale. So if you have a small collection of things coming, underwear, things that I don't recommend you wear twice. Pack enough underwear, people. We're not re-wearing underwear, people. Did everybody hear that? We don't re-wear underwear. Fresh pair every day. So anything that you do need laundered, there are 2 different ways to do it on board. You can do it yourself and save a little cash. You can pay about 20 bucks a bag and have someone do it for you. It's about what matters to you. In addition, when we're talking about underwear, fresh pair for every day, I want you to pack your dirtiest, ugliest, nastiest underwear in your drawer, and here's why. As humans, I find that we don't like buy new underwear for ourselves. We just don't do it. We're like, still works. So we tend to have underwear that's faded and comfortable and maybe a little bit too big and certainly not sexy. And then we have like the stuff that we wear for the expressed purpose of being taken off of us. It's completely uncomfortable. It's not practical at all, and it's sexy as hell. Am I right? So maybe pack 1 or 2 of those little sexy panties because it's a cruise and it's vacation and you're probably gonna want that. And then pack the rest of your granny panties. This goes for guys too. You know, the boxer briefs that have a hole in them and your wife's like, throw that away. Pack the stuff that every time you put it on at home, you're like, I really should go get new underwear. Because what I want you to do on the boat is wear it and then trash it. The reason I want you to do this is because when you get home, you're going to be motivated to buy yourself new underwear, which you probably need anyway. Go ahead and be honest with yourself. And because it also will wind up saving you a substantial amount of space in your return suitcase for the souvenirs that you buy while you're on vacation, right? So think about 10 pairs of underwear. You know, we've got a nice little, that takes up a chunk of your suitcase. But because they're old and nasty and you know you need to get rid of them anyway, you're gonna wear them once, then you're gonna throw them away. You don't take them home with you. And now you have free space in your bag for some souvenirs that you've purchased. Let's talk about those souvenirs. A lot of people say that cruising is expensive because of excursion and souvenirs. I'm gonna help you with excursions. We've got that on lock. Even if you're not coming with me, I can show you other things to do that'll save you cash. And then shopping, girlfriend, you're on your own. I am not your mama. You're gonna spend what you're gonna spend. However, when you pack in one bag or a smaller, you know, like one large bag as opposed to like 2 large bags, and you already know that space is a concern, you're gonna be much more mindful in your budgeting and how much you spend on souvenirs, right? You're gonna buy things that matter to you, things that really appeal to you, not just knickknacks. And you're gonna put a lot more mindful thought into what you buy for others because you're not always gonna be able to fit it in your bag to get home. So that's a really good way to preserve your budget. Maybe there's a live that we could have talking about how to keep on budget while you cruise. Anyway though, throwing out underwear clears up space for souvenirs. Think mindfully about your souvenirs. And if you do wind up going up there and being like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of fur. They still do a lot of fur trading. It's a great place to buy, like, I mean, if you're not into the cruelty thing, but fur-lined moccasins, fur-lined gloves, scarves, the hats. Some people buy full coats and blankets. Those things aren't fitting in your suitcase. More times than not. I can't say always because that gets me into like some liability issues, but almost always, if you buy a large item, a high ticket item, an expensive item, any reputable vendor, especially in Alaska, is going to be able to ship that home for you. Will it be free? Come on. No, it's not going to be free. But because it's a US state, you're still dealing with like USPS flat rate. So you can either elect to pay the merchant to ship it home for you, or if you have enough time in port, there's almost always a post office right near the port. You can pop in, buy a flat rate box, and ship it home to yourself. So that's another way to save room in your suitcase when we're talking about souvenirs. Toiletries. Since this cruise requires you to arrive in Anchorage, you have the option, depending on when your flight arrives, to arrive and hit up the local Walmart to buy any of the full-size toiletries that you couldn't fit in your bag. Don't buy them on board unless it's an emergency because that's expensive. Don't pack things you might need in your toiletries. Pack things you use every day. So for me, when I travel, and I think you guys know I travel a heck of a lot, first of all, I keep a go bag. Chris calls it my go bag. Have you ever heard like FBI people and police people have a go bag for when they're called out to duty unexpectedly? They just grab it and go. He calls it my go bag because I travel so often. But inside my go bag, I always have like a travel size detangler for my girls' hair, travel size makeups that you get when you're buying at the department store on a special, and they're like, and you get this nice little cute tote, and you're like, what the heck do I need that for? Travel size, throw it in your go bag, and then when you're packing your makeup, you have smaller sized items, so you're not bringing like your makeup trunk, Kate Milky. That's a way to save space on toiletries. The morning of, I don't even pack my toiletries, even my go bag, until the morning that I'm going to the plane to leave. Because what I do is I go through my normal morning routine, and if my hand touches it, it goes with me. If my hand doesn't touch it, I probably am not going to need it on vacation, right? So as far as toiletry goes, the things that you use every day, not the random color of eyeshadow that you might use one night. Pick basics that'll go with everything. What else? Jewelry for ladies. Jewelry when you're cruising. Don't do it. Don't do it. Somebody's calling me. Let me turn that off. Hope it wasn't important. You guys matter more right now. Okay, so jewelry, just don't do it. Fun story. I took all my jewelry on that trip I told you about earlier from Alaska to Australia. The Australia leg was for business. So I had to change out of vacation clothes into business professional on my flight. And while I was doing that, somebody so nicely stole all of my jewelry out of my bag. So my yellow diamond pendant that I had gotten in Alaska, my grandmother's 25th anniversary wedding ring, the high-end watch that I was given as a high school graduation present, all of it gone. I can never replace those things. When we go on vacation, we tend to want to take our finery and look fancy, right? I can't discourage this enough. I just can't. So don't pack a jewelry kit. Wear your favorite pieces, wear what you're going to wear, and then maybe take one or two things that you like but wouldn't crush you if something were to happen. You don't need to bring it all. If accessories are kind of your thing, the rules for you might be a little different, but for my average traveler, we just don't need to take that much jewelry. Some people really enjoy getting dressed up for dinner. For me, it's vacation hours, and I'd rather be out having fun than sitting in my room doing hair and makeup and jewelry anyway. So again, that goes into what I said about thinking about where you're going and what you want to do while you're there. If what you want to do on this cruise is dress to the nines every night, then your packing instructions might be different. But most people, when they're planning a vacation, it is not because they want to spend hours getting ready for dinner every night. So unless that's something that gives you joy, I don't want you to feel like you need to do that. And I certainly don't want you to waste space in your suitcase packing the things that will allow you to do that. What other things do people tend to pack? Dress in layers. So, we talked about the windbreaker that you're going to need and the 2 swimsuits. We talked about jeans and khakis and shirts that'll go with both so you can make different outfits. One thing that I like to do is I take my down vest, because my down vest will change any regular shirt into a whole new outfit. It's also a layer, so I can layer up if I get cold and take layers off. Packing items that can be layered easily is another way to really save space in your suitcase. Going with neutral colors, get your colors from the one pair of shoes maybe, or an accessory maybe, but pack neutral colors that do well for you. I think we're wrapping up here. Those are kind of my big tips. Oh my gosh, I got so impassionate here, guys. Oh, yay, I'm happy nobody asked me a whole bunch of questions over there. Do you guys have any specific packing questions? I want you to type those in now if you do. And I'm going to talk for just a second about cruising hot places, because I've spent a lot of time talking about Alaska because that's where we're going. So if you have specific questions, please post them over here right now, okay? Black is your natural, Kara? Me too. Girl, I love black. So warm cruising. 2 swimsuits still, 2 cover-ups still, and we're going to go as far as day clothes go for a 7-day cruise. I take 3, maybe 4 days. Because where are you going? It's hot. What do you want to do? I want to be in the sun getting a tan. So I don't need to pack day clothes for my warm weather cruises, because all I want to wear is my swimsuit and a cover up all day, every day. That's all I want. So I don't need to pack 7-day outfits, because I'm just not going to wear them, period. Pack what you will use, not what you might use. Make sense? I always take this sweater. It goes with me everywhere because it's thin, it's layerable, it's comfortable. I even take a sweater when I'm cruising the Caribbean. Even though it's 90 degrees and blazing hot in the day, at night on the water, it can get a little cool and it can get a little windy. So I do still recommend a sweater or a light jacket when you're cruising the Caribbean. Packing for Bermuda. Kate, yes. What you need to know about Bermuda is they are still very British in their ways. They are very buttoned up. So I know your personal style and it's not going to be a problem for you, but think about where you're going and what you're doing. And this time where you're going is Bermuda. No Daisy Dukes, no triangle top bikinis unless you've got a shirt over it in the cab and in the resort. They're very buttoned up. So I want you to make sure that you're dressing in a way that's not offensive to the locals. Do any of our planned excursions in Alaska require specific dress codes? I know the dragons. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Good walking shoes are going to be a must for pretty much all of them. What are we doing? The Wildlife Excursion Center, no. Good walking shoes, pocket money to tip, because these people are my friends and they're giving us a great rate, so we should tip them. What else are you doing with me? The train, no. Snorkeling, no. They give you everything you need. If an excursion ever requires something of you that is not going to be provided for you, I will always let you know that in advance. I'm going to set you up for success. That's part of the benefit of working with a travel agent. And yes, it is chilly at night on deck. It's kind of nice to snuggle up with your sweetie in a sweater and just kind of listen to the ocean. That's another thing. Your rooms are heated and air conditioned. I love, for my people in balconies, which I think is a good deal of you on most of my cruises, I love sleeping with my balcony door open. In the Caribbean, that means our room can get really hot at night. In Alaska, it means your room's probably going to get a little cool. So when you pack your pajamas, I want you to think about if that's something you would enjoy and if you tend to get hot or get cold when you sleep. As far as pajamas, I didn't cover that. 2 sets of pajamas. Why? Because you're going to want to wear them to the buffet in the morning, and sometimes I wear mine to the bar at night. It's vacation. Judge me. And they get dirty. So while you're laundering one, you have another to wear. You can alternate them if you're going to be wearing them in public. I bring slippers that have a leather bottom, and I wear those all over the boat, day and night. If I'm not in flip-flops, I probably am in my slippers, and that's a-okay. It is a-okay, and that's one of my favorite things about cruising. So you're going to want to do that too. See, your balcony did get hot, but when I was cruising the Caribbean in December, it's been 2 months ago now, we left our balcony open every night, and it was really warm when we went to sleep, and we would usually wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning. We're like, oh my goodness, it's a little cold in here. So even in the Caribbean, leaving your balcony door open can sometimes lead to a chilly experience as well. So I just want you to think about that. We've gone over toiletries, pajamas, underwear, shoes, formal wear, swimwear, souvenirs, food, you don't need it. Unless you're on a special diet, don't waste space for food. We've gone over jewelry, mosquitoes and bugs in Alaska. It can happen. It is a rainforest. I've done Alaska quite a few times. I've never experienced that personally firsthand, but I am a person who does not get bit by mosquitoes in general. No one in my family's experienced that, but this is something you wouldn't expect. Sunscreen in Alaska, even in Alaska. Here's why. In the summer, the sun is bright and sun reflects off water. So when you go to the Caribbean and you get a sunburn, you're like, I should have wore sunscreen. I'm in the Caribbean, duh. But a lot of people will go to Alaska and wind up with a sunburn and not understand how it happened. If there's snow, if there's water, the sun is going to reflect off of it, usually onto your face. I'm not worried about arms and legs getting burnt in Alaska. It's almost always the face. So you don't need to pack a 6-ounce SPF 100 for your arms, your legs, and your back, unless you're like my husband thinks about the sun and gets a sunburn. He might take some, but for your typical person, no. But do bring a face stick because that can happen. I have a friend who got like almost 2nd-degree sunburn once while out skiing. Any skier will tell you. Chapstick is another good one for Alaska because of the wind. We have been here almost a half hour. This is our longest live yet. Most people have checked out. I don't know that we have any other questions. You can always send me questions privately. Happy to help with them. But the big takeaways here I think we've got over. And again, if you can't move your bags on your own power, it's too much. Pack what you do need, not what you might need. If your hand touches it every day, it should go with you. A small first aid kit is a fabulous use of your space. A couple Band-Aids, Neosporin. When I was in Bonaire, when was I? In November, a wave slammed me into some coral. Turns out coral is a living thing, and I got a nice little infection on my foot. I have a scar there for the rest of my life. Shannon and Joe, I saw you were in here at one point. If you're still here, that nice little foot injury I got is still a scar. So I didn't have Neosporin on that trip, but somebody in our group did. So we had Neosporin and some Band-Aids, and that was really, really good to have, and now I will always have it. What's a good place to buy new bags, Kara? Kara, I love TJ Maxx, Ross Dress for Less, sometimes Nordstrom Rack, any one of like, you know, that family of stores almost always has phenomenal deals on bags. If you're not a frequent traveler, I really love asking your local Buy Nothing group on Facebook if you can borrow a bag, because suitcases can be like a couple $100 each for a really nice one. There's no need to make that investment if you don't travel frequently. For me, I have a lot of bags in different sizes for different purposes, but at this point, I'm going somewhere at least once a month until like 2022. So I need that. If you're an annual traveler, it makes a lot of sense to borrow from family, from friends, or even your local Buy Nothing group. Save that money to spend on your trip. Hi, Ella. Ella is here. She's actually down in Australia. You missed me talking about Australia earlier. Coming down to see you guys in fall when I was there once upon a time. So yeah, those are the big takeaways. I'm not seeing any other questions. There's still people popping in, and I kind of hate to leave you guys hanging. So Darcy, Ella, do you have questions? Is there anything in specific you'd like to talk about? Nope. Well, guys, thank you. I really enjoyed this. I love talking travel. I think we should talk about travel insurance next time. We'll do that. And how to stay on budget while you're on vacation is a good subject too. I think that could help a lot of people. So we will do that next time. And for now, thank you for joining me. Feel free to add questions here or message them to me as you have them or as you're packing. I am your travel agent. I'm with you to and through your trip. So that includes helping you pack if you have questions. I hope you found this useful. Bye, guys.